Then on Sports Central, we go over an NFL game preview and prediction on the AFC Championship matchup between the Baltimore Ravens and the Kansas City Chiefs. Two teams that have had outstanding seasons getting to this point. All comes down to this for the AFC title. You got Baltimore. This is a team that it's really not surprising seeing them in this position considering how talented and the experience of their team as well. But this was definitely a team that I feel like was a bit overlooked this past offseason. They're taking on Kansas City, defending Super Bowl champs. And the Chiefs, of course, maybe not the strongest team we've seen out of Kansas City, but with Pat Mahomes, this is still a very dangerous team. We'll be going over a full game preview and prediction on this matchup here today. Let's get started with their team trends. Baltimore beat the Houston Texans 34-10 last week. Dominant win there. And Houston they are no joke this season. CJ Stroud and that offense for this Ravens defense to keep them to 10 points is something that should not go overlooked. That is a brutal thing to do, and Baltimore is, you could definitely say, the most complete team left in the field. The 49ers are a complete team as well. But the Ravens defense has been really impressive this season, and you can't forget about this offense in this rushing game in particular for the Ravens that's been so dominant. But for Kansas City, beat Buffalo 27-24. That was a game that many thought Buffalo was going to pull out, but then the Chiefs win it, and it really should be no surprise seeing the Chiefs win that game considering they've had a lot of success against the Bills in the playoffs in recent time. But also, I mean, this is a Chiefs team that really doesn't have much pressure. They've won 2 Super Bowls in recent time. Obviously, last year won the Super Bowl. So, I mean, really at this point for the Chiefs, they're just looking to add on. This is a team that could very well, within the next few years, become the NFL's top dynasty. I feel like they've already become that top power in the league at this current point, given their success in the past 6 years or so. But for Baltimore, obviously a lot more pressure on them. This is really as good of a chance as they're going to get, I think, in the near future to win a Super Bowl. And so for them, obviously, in having home field advantage in this matchup, I mean, there's a lot of pressure on Baltimore, not so much on Kansas City. Games be on Sunday the 20th in Baltimore. Kickoff is 3 p.m. Eastern. Spreads going Ravens by 3.5 here. Really no surprise seeing Baltimore the favorite, especially considering they've got a tough home field advantage. I feel like the Ravens kind of go overlooked in that way as well. I mean, you consider Kansas City, they're always known for their brutal home field advantage, but it's pretty tough in Baltimore as well. I feel like that kind of goes overlooked. Over under 44.5 FPI is going Baltimore as well, 64%. Obviously, the playoff run, Ravens beat the Texans 34-10. As for Kansas City, dominant win over Miami 26-7, allowing 7 points to Miami. Miami is one of the best offenses in the league. That's something that should not go overlooked either. And obviously the tough win at Buffalo, also a really tough place to play, and got it done there. Stat comparison, Ravens are 4th in points per game, 1st in points allowed. A really complete team here in Baltimore. They're 21st in pass yards a game. So you could say the passing game is the main weakness, but even the passing game hasn't been terrible this season. I feel like it kind of, honestly, is a bit underrated, I would say. I mean, you got Lamar Jackson. He's thrown for nearly 3,700 yards. That's no joke there, 24 touchdowns. He's obviously known for being a dual-threat quarterback, having run for over 800 yards this season and 5 touchdowns, hence why Baltimore is the top-ranked team in the country in rush yards a game. But defensively, 6th in pass defense, 14th in rush defense. Strong pass D here in Baltimore, and obviously going to need it going up against Pat Mahomes and this Kansas City offense that is 6th in pass yards a game. Not quite as strong of a team on offense as in some recent years. Especially the receiving core, that's been an area of concern, except for Travis Kelce, who's been excellent as always, especially in the first half of this season. But the defense has really been impressive for Kansas City. 2nd in points allowed, then 4th against the pass. They are 18th against the run in the league this season. Your key points, Baltimore 14-4. This is a brutal team defensively, especially in the rush game. That's really where they find ways to win against teams. And I mean, this season, if you look at any of the teams down this stretch and how they played, I would say Baltimore was the best team in the league. I would say later on in this season, last month especially. I mean, they dropped 56 on Miami, beat San Francisco 33-19 on the road, beat Jacksonville on the road 23-7, a halfway decent team there. Obviously just beat Houston 34-10 last week. So, I mean, for the Ravens to be in this position, this is a really strong team right now. They are playing really the best of any of the 4 teams remaining. Kansas City's dangerous just because of, I mean, they really don't have a lot to lose. They've already won 2 Super Bowls in recent time. Last season, they're the defending champs. So, I mean, the Ravens are a team that's got pressure, but they're definitely the better team, I would say, in comparison to Kansas City. But for the Chiefs, yeah, they're not as complete, but they got Pat Mahomes, who's obviously an incredible player. I mean, that goes without saying. But the main concern for Kansas City is the receivers and the rush defense as well. You're going up against Baltimore, who is known for having a lot of success running the ball. So that is a big concern for Kansas City. They're not going to have the same pressure as Baltimore. That's, I'd say, one of their main advantages, honestly. But even then, you look at the home field advantage for Baltimore. You look at both teams as a whole. The Ravens are all around a better team, I would say. I mean, you just look at the results this season and how things have gone. This honestly hasn't been as good of a season for Kansas City, but they have found ways to win games when it really matters, especially in this postseason so far. So really an intriguing matchup on both times. This is the 6th straight AFC Championship game for Kansas City. Just insane. But with that, let's get the prediction here for Baltimore and Kansas City coming up here in the AFC Championship game. In the end, I'm going with the favorite. Ravens win it 28-24. I feel like the Ravens are in a way a team of destiny, just based on how they've played down the stretch here. They've really been impressive, playing their best ball at the best time of the season. Kansas City's been playing really well as well, but I feel like the Ravens have the advantage here. They play into the hand better than Kansas City does. Baltimore's offense, the way they've been clicking this season. I mean, Houston is a solid team. That is CJ Stroud. They really played well in the second half as well, or in the second half of the season. But for Baltimore to beat them 34-10 is something that should not be underestimated. Baltimore is clicking right now. I think they find a way to win this matchup. It's going to be close, but Ravens win it 20-24. So I'm saying Ravens 55%, taking the over for this one as well, and Baltimore to cover the spread in the end. Ravens going to the Super Bowl. Honestly, if you look at all the 4 teams remaining, I would say Baltimore is the most likely to win the Super Bowl this season. I mean, the 49ers are obviously tough. The Lions story has been special this season, and kind of feels like Detroit is kind of a team of destiny as well. But as for this matchup, taking Ravens 20-24. But let me know your thoughts in the comments below on the AFC Championship, your score predictions, all of that. My name's Evan. This is All Sports Central. Stay tuned for more. We'll catch you on the next one.